Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to Titan Tips. For today, I just want to talk about something really quick to do with the market, something that some people may know, may notice, or may not. It's just a little tweak, but I think something that is definitely important to note and may help you to sell things quicker or to be a little bit more efficient when it comes to the market. So let me show you what I want to talk about here. So when you go to offer something in the market, you can obviously sell anything for gold or gems. So let's say we have these Lux items here and I want to sell all three of them. I can either sell for 7.3 million or we go to gems, and 12 gems is the lowest offer right now. So if I go to 12 gems and at the lowest time, it goes to 9, right? But check this out. If I go down to 11 gems, so I'm undercutting this person, it's going to go down to 8 gems, right? Because there's a 20% tax rate on this. So it's going to go down to 8 gems. It's taking 3 gems off. So a lot of people will undercut this and go to 11 gems. But here's the thing. If you go to 10 gems, check this out. Because it's 20%, it's still 8 gems. So listing for 11 gems actually is like the worst thing that you can do, because somebody can undercut you and still get the same amount out. So you're actually doing yourself a disservice by listing for 11 gems when you could list for 10, and then nobody's going to undercut you. So when you go to market and let's say you search for like tier 9 flawless items, okay, and we search by gem price. There's going to be some that are 10 gems, but look at these. There's tons that are 11 gems. None of these make any sense, because anyone who's listing for 11 gems could just list for 10. Their item's going to get sold faster and they're going to make the exact same amount, and they can't get undercut. It actually doesn't make any sense. The same is true if you list for 6 gems. Because of how the 20% rounds, let's say we go here and I'm wanting to sell this walrus. Obviously, I wouldn't sell it this cheap, but let's say I go to 6 gems. It's going to list for 4 gems because it rounds up. So if it's 20% of 6 and that's like 1.2 or whatever it is, it's going to round it up to taking 2 gems off instead of 1. So it's going to go down to 4. But if I listed this for 5 gems, it's still 4. Okay, so you should never list for 6 gems, 11 gems, 16 gems, 21 gems. I think that's how it works mathematically. But if you're listing for those numbers, it actually doesn't make any sense, because things are going to take longer to sell. You're going to get undercut and you still would get the same amount out of it anyways. Another thing to note is that your tax rate changes when you change the time. So see how that just actually went up or down? So 4 gems, 3 gems. So depending on what you list, the tax rate changes. And so 20% of 5 is exactly 1, but 22% of 5 is 1 point something. So that will round it and steal an extra gem from this sale. So the only way that you're going to be able to sell for exactly 5 gems efficiently is by going for 12 hours. Then it'll go to 22 and 25%. Okay, so that's the other thing to keep in mind, is that 20% gets taken off for gem offers. And then if you were to do the same thing, but go to gold offers, let's say we put this up for 7 million as well, it's going to take off 10%. So it's 10% for gold, 20% for gems. But if you increase the time, it's going to actually increase the percentage. So it goes to 12 and 15%. So you're actually losing extra gold by putting an offer in for more than 12 hours. All right, so it's exactly the same when it comes to requests. If you request an item and let's say I want a lion spirit and I'm going to try to get them for 500k, which probably would never happen, but let's just give an example, and you've got it up for 12 hours, the longer that you put this in for, the more it's going to cost you per one, because the tax rate increases there as well. And so keep that in mind. The longer that you have something in the market, the longer that your offer is active, the more tax is going to be taken off. But think about it this way as well. If your 12-hour offer expires and you press a relist, you don't take it off the market and put it back in. You just press relist when that timer is out. You keep your place in line. So it's just like you've been in the market for 12 hours and 1 minute at that point. So you don't actually have to put it in for 2 days. You just have to press relist every 12 hours to keep your place in line and have the best rate. Obviously, that's more annoying, but it's definitely something to keep in mind. Also, I think something that's really important to keep in mind when you're selling items is that every time that you sell an item or buy an item, there's 10% of gold or more and 20% of gems or more that's disappearing, right? The market takes its spread. And so if you can make something yourself, generally speaking, it's going to be a little bit cheaper, 10 or 20% cheaper than buying it from market. Obviously, there's I mean, that's just a super generality because you can buy things and sell things and make crazy profits in market, and sometimes it's just ridiculous. But generally speaking, you have to factor in the loss from what the market's going to take before you buy and sell things to make sure that you're not just losing money. Because even if you bought something, let's say you're buying components, you go to components and you're like, okay, these components are 15K, they seem really cheap. And then next week is King's Caprice, or in a few days is King's Caprice. So I'm going to sell those for 25K, but 25K minus 10%, you're getting 22 or whatever. So just keep in mind that if you're not able to get your 20% profit for gems, or at least 10% profit for gold, you're still losing money regardless. So it's just a little thing to keep in mind, and definitely be mindful of when you're listing things. So if you do list something, even let's say you list something like this for 10 gems, you're getting 8. As soon as you increase that, it goes to 7. So just make sure that you keep that in mind, and so when you're listing things, you're not losing too much just for putting in the wrong time or the wrong number, or whatever it is. Just be mindful of what you do, what the tax rates are, and how you can make sure that you benefit from that. So hopefully all that makes sense and it wasn't too long-winded. Hopefully it helps you out. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you learned something, and we will catch you next time. Have a good one. Thank you so much. Peace out.